So it's very low, as opposed to if you buy a very expensive actively managed unit trust, you buy an ILP, right? I mean, you could be paying like 1.8, 1.9%, right? So the good thing about ETF, as you all know, is that the cost is low. And if you buy something that is low in cost in investment, you win already, because, right, the lower the cost, the higher the potential return to the investor.
You know, I'm a big fan of S&P 500. Everybody knows that, okay? I'm also a big fan of the NASDAQ, okay? In fact, a few days ago, I went on the NASDAQ. But actually, there's a lot more funds that behave in the same nature, and you know, maybe you can xiao a little bit, you know. What do you think? Just now you mentioned the MSCI World Index and all this. Yeah, maybe you can talk more about this.
Yeah, so well, generally speaking, I don't like to specifically recommend products whether in a talk like this, okay? Because sometimes, you know, we don't know what people buy, okay? And people buy because they think that we recommend them to buy, right? So, but well, if you want to buy an index, if your choice is that of an index, the S&P 500 is good, right? I mean, if you invest in the equities market, you cannot avoid the US, right? If you look at the map of the stock market, the US stock market by market capitalization constitute about 55% of the world stock market.
I thought more than that.
It's about 54 to
really?
by
Wow.
market
Okay.
capitalization,
Cool.
right? The second biggest, and it's very far, right? It's like Japan, right? And that's like single digit, right? So if you are investing in equities, you cannot run away from the US stock market, and the S&P 500 is a very good proxy of the US stock market. So it's great, right? I mean, you have all the tech stocks there, and the big company Tesla is also there if you like Tesla, right? So that's the S&P 500, but it's 100% US. So as I mentioned, if you want to be exposed, you want to be diversified, because as the saying goes, diversification is the only free lunch in investment. Then you will want to expose to the European stock market, you want to be exposed to the Japanese stock market, you may want to be exposed to the emerging markets. Then the MSCI All Country Index is a good one, right? Now, a good ETF...
the MSCI World Index.
All country, and Morgan Stanley Capital Index, right? All country lah. All country means like whole world, macam whole world.
How to buy?
Okay, so you can buy the ETF version, right? And I buy the version that's actually listed on the London Stock Exchange. The code or the ticker is VWRA.
VWRA. That
is what I buy for myself. I never recommend.
I do it as stock. Okay, I buy his the one he sells. I mentioned. Yeah.
So that if you want an ETF that's exposed to a broader market than just the S&P 500, yeah, that's one consideration for you. I mean, the good thing about the ETF is that it tracks the index and the cost is low.
How low is low?
I don't know, it's point. I don't even track point. I can ask Keith, how low is low? 0.12, 0.15%, or even low. See, good. That's the good thing about having Keith over here.
So low.
Yeah, it's very. Okay, Keith will shout across to me.
0.22%. Wow, that's very low. Yeah. Lower than 1%, really low already.
Yeah, so it's very low. As opposed to if you buy a very expensive actively managed unit trust, you buy an ILP, right? I mean, you could be paying like 1.8, 1.9%. Right, so the good thing about ETF, as you all know, is that the cost is low. And if you buy something that is low in cost in investment, you win already, because, right, the lower the cost, the higher the potential return to the investor. So that's the ETF. Now, of course, the other thing that I buy, right, for myself is I buy the dimensional funds, right? We started the partnership with Dimensional since 2016. What is dimensional funds? Now, dimensional fund is very unique. Right? It's unique in that it is like an index, because if you buy one of their fund called the core equity fund, well, you have like, I don't know, 7,000-8,000 stocks inside there. So that's even bigger than the S&P 500. Bigger as in the S&P 500, you have 500 stocks. That fund has 8,000 over stocks. It's even more diversified. But what is different about the dimensional fund is that it is not an index, as in it doesn't just track the index. Dimensional believes that there are certain factors in a stock that can give you a higher expected returns, right? The three factors would be value stocks, Second will be small caps. The small cap is not like our Singapore kind of penny stock small one. It's very big, but still called small caps relative to the US market.
Yeah.
And then thirdly will be stocks that show a certain level of profitability. Now, you might be asking, well, don't other fund managers do the same thing? Well, they do. However, the way they implement it is very different. Other managers, when they decide whether a stock, for example, is a value stock, they use a lot of forecasting. They forecast the future earning of the stock. They guess what would be the discount rate. All these technical terms, right? I mean, it's very difficult to explain this over a live stream.
I also cannot understand.
Yeah, but dimensional don't. Okay, dimensional, the factors is being academically researched by this professor. If you are a finance student, you've heard of this professor because his name is called Eugene Farmer. He's a Nobel laureate, right? And he believes that market is efficient. Market is efficient doesn't mean you cannot find mispriced stocks. It just means that you cannot, it takes a lot of effort and money and time to find mispriced stocks. That the price of the stock quickly has already absorbed all the information in the market.
Your eyes must also see my YouTube.
Okay. You do not know, there are 4 cameras here. Right, so basically, dimensional doesn't guess, right? The way they decide whether a stock is valued or not is scientific, is not by guessing. So it is good to buy. I have been invested in it. The cost is also very low. On average, it's about 0.3%, thereabout. So it's still very low. But a word of caution, and I don't really like to answer product question because they are just products. Dimensional has various products, right? They have got a product that is specifically focused on value stocks, right? They have a product that is more US based, more diversified. Products are like ingredients in the dish that you want to eat, right? How the dish is best cooked really depends on the proportion of the ingredients you put in. Yeah. So I can tell you products, please do not just rush out there, and just buy, all the products that we are
buy
talking
Chanel
about.
and buy Hermes.
Yeah, we're just telling you that these are some of the ingredients that are used, and when Blue shares the same thing, you're just sharing the ingredients that you use. What proportion should go into S&P? What proportion should go into MSCI World?
When do you eat the lunch?
It really depends on your own needs and your preferences.